This is the second half of the video on testicular tumors. In the first video, we had looked at the etiology, the clinical features, the classification of testicular tumors, and the investigations. In this video, we will be discussing the tumor markers, the staging, and the treatment. Now, the tumor markers are measured before surgery. Blood sample is taken before surgery. It is raised in approximately 80 to 85% of cases. So, it is raised in a good number of tumors. The tumor markers are more likely to be raised in non-seminomatous tumors than in seminomatous tumors, and they are used to monitor the response to treatment. Now, supposing we've done orchidectomy for the testicular tumor and we measure the tumor markers after the surgery is done. So, what indication does that give? If the tumor markers are elevated after orchidectomy, it means it is stage 2 or stage 3 disease. Whereas if the tumor markers are elevated after RPLND, RPLND means retroperitoneal lymph node dissection. If it's elevated after RPLND, it means it is a stage 3 disease. Please note this difference. After orchidectomy, it can be either stage 2 or stage 3. After RPLND, it is stage 3. The degree of elevation of the tumor marker, it correlates directly with tumor burden. This is in contradistinction to many of the other tumor markers where an elevation indicates a recurrence, but it need not indicate the tumor burden. Whereas in testicular tumors, the degree of elevation correlates directly with the tumor burden. The tumor marker also indicates the tumor histology. For example, seminomas do not have any defined or any specific tumor markers, but alkaline phosphatase may be raised in seminoma. Now, supposing I get a patient, I think it is a seminoma, and I plan to do a hymenal orchidectomy for that patient. But supposing if I send a tumor marker profile prior to the surgery and it comes out as supposing if it comes as alpha fetoprotein, one of the tumor markers which is raised is alpha fetoprotein, then that would mean that the tumor is a mixed tumor, and along with the seminoma, it contains some other component, probably a yolk sac tumor, because alpha fetoproteins are most commonly raised in yolk sac tumors. Now, after surgery, if you want to look for recurrence, we realize that the tumor markers become positive earlier than the X-ray studies. Now let us look at the tumor markers one by one. Alpha fetoprotein is produced by trophoblastic cells. The alpha fetoproteins are increased in tumors which can be remembered by the mnemonic YET, where Y stands for yolk sac tumors, E stands for pure. Please note, E stands for pure embryonal carcinoma, and T for teratoma. The normal value of alpha fetoprotein is less than 60 nanograms per ml, and it has a half-life of 5 to 7 days. This tumor marker of alpha fetoprotein is increased in yolk sac tumors, pure embryonal carcinoma, and teratoma. It never increases in pure choriocarcinoma and pure seminoma. Usually, when you're preparing for an MCQ based exam such as NEET PG, or NEET SS, there are two thumb rules that I have. One is if the word never is given in an option, the never is never correct. Also, if the word always is given in an option, it always is always incorrect. But then there are certain exceptions to that rule, and here this never is an exception to it. So alpha fetoprotein never increases in pure choriocarcinoma or pure seminoma. Next is beta HCG. Beta HCG, or beta human chorionic gonadotrophin, is produced by syncytial trophoblastic cells. It increases in tumors which can be remembered by the mnemonic SEC, where S stands for seminoma, E stands for embryonal carcinoma, and C stands for choriocarcinoma. Here, as you can see, the beta HCG is raised in 100%, that is, it is raised in all the tumors of choriocarcinoma. The normal value of beta HCG is less than 1 nanogram per ml, and it has a half-life of 24 to 36 hours. Both the normal value as well as the half-life of beta HCG is way lower when compared to alpha fetoprotein. Now, there are two other tumor markers which are non-specific. One is lactate dehydrogenase. It is a marker of tumor bulk. That means the higher the LDH, the bulkier the tumor is likely to be, and it is indicative of poor prognosis. PLAP is another non-specific tumor. PLAP is elevated in seminoma. It can be elevated in other conditions as well, which is why it is considered to be a non-specific tumor marker. This too is a marker of tumor bulk. Next, let us look at the TNM staging. So TX means that the primary tumor cannot be assessed. T0 means there is no tumor. TIS means there is an, usually IS stands for in situ. Here TIS stands for intratubular germ cell neoplasia. This means it is a germ cell neoplasia of the intratubular. Intratubular means within the seminiferous tubules. Now, to understand T1, T2, T3, T4, let us first recap the layers of the testis. From inside to outside, we first have the vasculosa, then we have the albuginea, and then we have the tunica vaginalis. So this is in, this is out. So in T1, the tumor invades the albuginea. It is up to the albuginea. In T2, it is vaginalis which is involved. Vasculosa is very thin, which is why it is not taken into consideration. So T1 is albuginea, T2 is vaginalis, T3 means it invades the spermatic cord, T4 means it invades the scrotum. Now looking at the lymph nodes, N0 means it is up to 2 centimeters in size. Here it can either be a single lymph node or it can be multiple lymph nodes, but the bottom line is that the size of the lymph node is up to 2 centimeters only. N2 is 2 to 5 centimeters and N3 is more than 5 centimeters. Distant METs, M0 is no METs, MX where we cannot assess it, M1 means distant METs. M1 has two subdivisions, M1A and M1B. M1A means it is a non-regional nodal. That is, it is not in the region of the lymph nodes that is drained, that usually drains, it is not in the lymphatic pathway of the testis, but it is in another region. Or it could be a pulmonary METs. M1B means distant METs. Other than to so whatever is not considered in M1A becomes M1B. So M1A is non-regional nodal or pulmonary METs. So M1 will be distant METs apart from the non-regional nodes and any other METs apart from the lungs. Now the level of the tumor marker is also indicative of the stage in which it belongs. So there are three tumor markers which I looked at in this. One is the alpha fetoprotein, second is the HCG, and third is LDH. Now as you may note, the units are different. These units need to be memorized. So alpha fetoprotein is in micrograms per liter, where S0 is within normal limits, S1 means less than 1000, S2 means 1000 to 10,000, and S3 means more than 10,000. HCG, the unit is international units per liter, where S0 is within normal limits, S1 is less than 5,000, S2 is 5,000 to 50,000, and S3 is more than 50,000. Now, as you may have noticed, the HCG is nothing but 5 times that of alpha fetoprotein. So, HCG equals 5 times alpha fetoprotein sans the unit, because the unit is different. Thirdly, we have the LDH or lactate dehydrogenase. S0 means it is within normal limits. S1 means it is less than 1.5 into N. N stands for the upper limit of the normal for LDH assay. In that lab, whatever is the normal normal value that is given for the LDH, S1 means it is less than 1.5 times. S2 means it is 1.5 to 10 times, and S3 means it is more than 10 times. Now, Bailey and Love also mentions an older staging system where stage 1 means the tumor is confined to the testis and epididymis only. Stage 2 means the nodes are enlarged, but these nodes are present below the diaphragm. Stage 3 means nodes are enlarged and these nodes are present above the diaphragm. Stage 4 means a non-lymphatic METs, for example, to the lungs. So stage 1 is to the testis and epididymis. Stage 2 is nodes plus nodes are present below the diaphragm. Stage 3 is nodes are present above the diaphragm. Stage 4, any non-lymphatic metastatic disease. This diaphragm taken into consideration of the staging system is also seen in Ann Arbor staging of Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, what are the principles of treatment of testicular tumors? The first and foremost principle is that you aim the treatment at one stage above the clinical stage. So, if I think it is stage 1 tumor, I would treat it considering it to be a stage 2 tumor. If I clinically think it is a stage 2 tumor, I will treat it as a stage 3 tumor. If I clinically think it is a stage 3 tumor, I will treat it as a stage 4 tumor. Now, there are a few things which need to be kept in mind when considering the treatment of testicular tumors. Firstly, seminomas are radiosensitive. Therefore, seminomas, you will give radiotherapy. Seminomas are also chemosensitive. So you will give them chemotherapy as well. The non-seminomas are radio resistant. They are not sensitive to radiotherapy. Therefore, for non-seminomas, you will use surgery. And for metastatic tumors, you will use chemotherapy. This chemotherapy used in metastasis is used for downstaging the tumor. So to reiterate, seminomas are radiosensitive and chemosensitive. Therefore, to treat seminomas, you can give radiotherapy as well as chemotherapy. Non-seminomas are radioresistant, so you will give surgery as a primary modality of treatment. Non-seminomas are also chemosensitive, but they are not as chemosensitive as seminomas. And for the treatment of METs, you will use chemotherapy. This chemotherapy, when used in the treatment of METs, helps to downstage the tumor. Now, this is a golden line which needs to be etched into your brain. Radical inguinal orchidectomy or high inguinal orchidectomy is the standard first line of therapy. This means that when you're managing a testicular tumor, you will first do a radical inguinal orchidectomy or a high inguinal orchidectomy and only then proceed. This I'll explain in the subsequent slides. So let us look at the treatment of seminoma. Now, for a seminoma, the treatment is divided into stage 1, 2A, 2B, stage 2 and stage 3. So, for 1, 2A and 2B, I'll use a different color here. For 1, 2A and 2B, you will first do a radical inguinal orchidectomy followed by radiotherapy. This radiotherapy will be given to the ipsilateral retroperitoneal region and the iliac group of lymph nodes, because the retroperitoneum region is the region from where the testicular tumor, from where the testis develops, which is why there is more chances of the testis tumor spreading to the retroperitoneum. So for a stage 1, stage 2,